Hey everybody, it's the Gun Doctor from Crusader Weaponry, back again for another episode of the Gun Doctor Files. So let's break right into it. Okay, today we're going to talk a little bit about cleaning tools. We've gone through how to clean your guns a couple different times, so we're not going to go into that today. But I've noticed while searching through YouTube here that there's some of the so-called professionals out there showing you how to clean guns, and to tell you the truth, they don't have a clue what they're doing. So I'm going to just run through some of the tools you should be using, and some of them that, well, at least one of them here in front of you that avoid like the plague. First off, let's go with avoid like the plague. And you guessed it, it's the eyelet. This thing is all but trash. I keep one around just in case I don't have something small enough to use as a jag to actually push something through the barrel. I never put a patch through the eyelet to use it that way. It's just not worth it. It doesn't provide a good enough seal in the bore, so it actually does more harm than good, because you're not getting every surface of the bore when you're pushing it through. That is why we use something like this. This is called a jag, and these come in different caliber sizes. This happens to be the 9mm, and it's just the right size that with a patch it provides a nice seal in the barrel, and you're able to push as much of the carbon and grit out of the bore as possible. Next, you should always be using your combination here. This is a pistol rod, but there are rifle rods out there like it as well. You should always be using the brush and then push the gunk that you just scrubbed up. You should be using the jag here to push from the breech out towards the muzzle, never the opposite direction. The reason for that is if you're moving it the opposite direction, then you're pushing that grit and grime back through the barrel the way it already came, and you're actually it's actually harder on the bore. So that's something we're not going to do. Next up, for getting the hard caked on carbon and whatnot off, you really can't replace these brushes with anything else. They come in a nylon like this one. You got them in the bronze. The bronze works very well for just about everything, because the bronze is softer than the steel, so it's not going to scratch up your finish. You can get it in a stainless steel as well. I don't recommend it because the stainless steel is hard enough to scratch your firearm and will wreck your finish. The one I like the most is actually the Hobby's Bore Snake. Now, this thing works phenomenally well, and all you have to do, it has a nice long lanyard here and a weighted end. You just drop that down through the breech, and these are great because you don't even have to take the gun apart. Just lock the action open, whether it's a pistol, or they make these in rifle calibers as well. So for you guys that shoot the M1 Garand or the M1A, this is perfect because you can just drop this down through the bore and pull it through the direction you're supposed to be taking it, and on those rifles it isn't possible to do with your rod. So and these bore snakes, they provide 100% contact from the bristles clear through the end, so you're scrubbing 100% of the time from the bristles on back. So it actually does the job of about, I would say, about 20 patches or more. So I mean, it's this would be the one that I would recommend above anything else. So, you know, arm yourself with knowledge, guys. Clean your weapons with proper tools. If you have somebody telling you, oh, just you know, push the rod through at the muzzle, that is the time to turn that video off and go to something else. You always clean from the breech towards the muzzle, unless you absolutely don't have anything else to do it with. Like I mentioned with the M1 Garand's, you have to clean it with a rod anyway if you're using that from the muzzle towards the rear, because the rod doesn't fit from the back end. You can't get it in there. But that's when you go to the bore snake. It's really a fantastic product. I recommend it for any firearm. So there you go, guys. Let's use the right equipment for the right job, and we'll see you next time.